Yo, welcome back. We're here at the Buck Junkies podcast again, doing another episode. Still a man down, guys. We got Mark on here. Mikey's here today. You're back with us.
We're just swapping out. We're just three-person it now.
But Jamie's out. He's a little under the weather.
Yeah, he's done turned into roofer with the shingles.
Yeah, man, you don't want that.
That's he said it was hurting him pretty good this morning. I talked to him for a minute, but hopefully he can get back around because we got to go cook a contest this weekend.
Oh, yeah, he's probably, he called me last night and said, man, I don't know if I'm going to make it tomorrow. I said, dude, with shingles, I always thought it was like an old people's thing, but it's not. It's like you can get it if you've had chicken pox, you got that virus in you, and it can flare up at any time. Usually it does happen in older people.
I mean, he's kind of...
It happens in older people.
Yeah, it happens in older people.
So
old folks.
But I don't want to get it because I think, is it contagious? Have y'all heard that?
I think you got to pretty much be pretty close contact. And if you and Jamie get close enough, you get the shingles, y'all got some other issues anyway. So.
Don't put his turkey vest on.
Don't put his turkey vest and start kissing on his neck. You'll be all right.
Yeah. No, you ain't got to worry about that. But I don't want it jumping off on me. No. My wife actually had it, a year or so ago, and put her down for a week. It's like the immune system, or you get low, and stress causes it to flare up worse or something. I don't know.
Does it make you like sick or just your?
No, it hurts.
It hurts. It'll make you like sick to your stomach because you hurt so bad.
It's like a nerve. I think it's like a nerve thing. It irritates you under your skin first, but it can cause like blisters like chicken pox.
Who was it? We had somebody.
I think they give you like the hurt medicine to cure it.
No.
Ask Jamie what they gave him. He's got no Val. What is it? Valtrex?
He got to put some salve on him.
He's got to cure his blisters.
Can you imagine if they write him a prescription for that and he has to go pick it up?
The doctor,
Living in a small town, people be calling his wife.
Yeah,
like,
hey, Jamie,
girl up you might not want to.
That'd be bad.
Well, what Jamie's been doing, but he got some Valtrex.
We were somewhere at a barbecue class. Somebody come down with it bad, like during the class.
It was King Julian.
It was in Olive Branch. That's right. Because he called a doctor. He's like, "You get on a plane, get home now."
Yep. I mean, it ain't no joke. No, I'm talking about it. Pain. It'll hurt you, so you got to pretty much shut down, and then you got to stay calm. You can't do nothing to get.
So for all
agitated.
our fellow buck hunters, if y'all need any more medical device, you just reach out to Buck Junkies.
MD.
We'll get you took care of.
WebMD ain't got nothing on us.
Mike can hook you up with the poison ivy and all that.
Oh, yeah.
You don't want that. Man, I heard, did you hear that MeatEater podcast? They were talking about, I guess Stephen Eller got ate up with poison ivy, and he's all down on, or he's all says global warming is true because he ain't supposed to have poison ivy in Michigan this time of year, but he got it from squirrel hunting. And he didn't get it because they were touching poison ivy. It was in the squirrel's fur, the oil, whatever oil that is. And they were taking pictures. They laying these squirrels out on their arms and taking pictures with them. And what happened, he did some research on it, why he got it so bad, was the squirrels get all that poison ivy, poison oak, and when they're nesting up this time of year, they get the leaves and they put them up in the tree holes and stuff, and that's what they build their nest out of. So he got ate up with it.
You ain't kidding, man. That stuff is... I'm not allergic to many things, but that is one that I'm highly allergic to.
Me too.
Man, that stuff.
I think that's the only reason Mikey used to let me hang out with him. I'd go put the deer stand on the tree, and he'd just get back and watch. You get up in that green leaf, you can handle it.
I used to make Mark put the calamine lotion on places I couldn't reach.
I put it on a stick.
All right, dog, you got to sit down. That's it.
Well, there's our fourth guest.
Yeah,
she's in here.
Sadie's going to stand in.
Get her a chair.
Yeah, prop her up. She'll be all right.
Brought her Mo Marsh in here. Let her sit on it.
But I guess last week's recap, we talked about the trade show.
Yeah, Marky, you missed out.
I did.
Went to Michigan to 18-degree weather and 6 inches of snow and talked hunting and talked barbecue. We had a big time. It was a really, really good trade show.
I think y'all brought that cold weather back with you.
We did. It was, I want to say that one morning it was 18 or 20 when we got up. It was pretty, Jamie was about to freeze to death, but it was pretty cold.
You say those northern guys, man, you just think it gets cold here. You get up that far north.
The freaking wind.
Yeah.
The wind was so bad. I don't think it ever quits blowing up there. Like, it's nonstop. There has never been a time I've been in Michigan or Indiana that it was not windy.
I think those guys listened to our podcast. They heard us talking about, when I mentioned something about hunting turkeys from blind or deer stand.
We got people listening.
Hey, so would they tell you that that's highly illegal in Michigan?
Yeah, that is illegal. Really? You cannot hunt turkeys from an elevated platform of any sort in Michigan.
So Mark kind of gave me the heads up, said, man, you might not want to mention doing that. And I said, well, I didn't know. I mean, I went and looked in the regulations in Mississippi, and I can't find anything about it being illegal in the state of Mississippi. In fact, there's some places that say you have some of the stuff I found says you have it's no advantage, but in places where they have, like a fall turkey season, a lot of guys do it, so I don't know, what do I know about turkey hunting? I'm new to it, but have y'all ever heard it's illegal in Mississippi?
I had never heard it was.
I've never thought about it.
Yeah.
I mean,
most people just don't do it.
Yeah.
I mean, we got places that it's possible to do it, you know, where we had the stands at, and you could set up there. And
I don't know how.
My thinking was during deer season when I see turkeys, man, they don't ever look up and see what you're doing up in the stand.
No, they're like a chicken; they'll drown.
Yeah.
If it rains, a chicken won't look up. They always say if chicken looks up, it'll die, it'll drown.
I don't know if that's true with turkey.
Well, it is. A friend of mine, they raised turkeys one time, and all the little poults or whatever. He said a big rainstorm came, and he had like 10 or 12 of them off a few turkeys, and he said every one of them drowned.
Really?
They all stood.
They
out
don't
there
really
and
look up.
They were sitting there.
A chicken will. A chicken won't know where that rain's coming from, and it'll stand and look straight up.
Now I didn't see it. He was just telling me about it. He said he would. He had never had no look. He said they were just so stupid when they were little that they didn't know where the rain was coming from.
I'm telling you, a turkey ain't that smart. It's just scared to death of everything.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah, he's smart.
I don't know. So, if, for instance, if you was to hunt out of, say, a box stand turkey hunt, what's that going to do to your pattern on your shotgun? Because you're going to change your aim point.
I mean, it's going to change your aim point and your angle, I guess. But
you're going to blow all the tail feathers off because all the pellets are going to go right down to the fan.
Yeah, that would be the disadvantage of doing it for sure. It'd be, elevated when you shoot down. You're shooting right into the body.
I ain't trying to shoot him in the top of the head. I'm shooting him at the base of the head. Yeah, I'm going to blow his feet off.
Toenails and all. But no, we had a big time in Michigan again. Thank them guys, and thank you for keeping us straight on the Michigan law. We was going to bring our climbing stands and go turkey hunting, but I don't guess we are now.
Not in Michigan, you ain't.
No.
No, it's always don't take our advice when it comes to rules and regulations of your local hunting area.
Sometimes we get to talking before we research. So.
Yeah.
Talk from experience.
I am no expert. I'll be the first to tell you. I'm here to learn. Sometimes you learn a hard lesson. You get a ticket.
When that little green truck shows up, you know that, hey, we wasn't supposed to do that.
We need to call game warden and ask him, hey, man.
Yeah.
Will or Mike or Zane,
I don't know. If you ain't seen it written, we might not want to poke that bear.
Yeah.
We may have all kind of new turkey laws next year.
They may. I don't think very many people would hunt because you're kind of running and gun. Most people run and gun when they turkey hunt, right?
Yeah. When you're hunting big property, you have to, but like down there, I mean, you're not.
Know where the turkeys are coming.
Yeah. I mean, you can run and gun down there, but you're not like you're not covering 2 and 3 miles like Daddy used to do. You're pretty close quarters down there. But speaking of, somebody done some running and gunning. Somebody got on the board.
It wasn't running and gunning. Me and Mikey went opening morning. It was after we recorded that last podcast. Mikey got back in town, so we wouldn't go miss a shot to go turkey hunting on opening morning. But we went out there and did a little locating.
We did. So I don't know, we got out there probably 6:15, 6:20, maybe a little later.
I think we come open the gate about 6:30.
Yeah. We got out there, and I mean the sun is just starting to turn blue over the trees. You barely can see, and birds start singing, and people's chickens start waking up. And you can hear them, and that's about the time you want to be there when the turkeys start getting real vocal early in the morning. So
they still sitting on the roost.
Yeah, still sitting on the roost, trying to decide. They're gonna try to fly down whenever it gets light. So you want to try to catch them in a tree, get them located, and get on them before they start moving if you can. I do. I mean, that's my process, anyways. But yeah, we pulled through the gate. We owl hooted. Had one gobble off to the left of us. It wasn't. We didn't think it was very far.
He never really did talk again.
He didn't. And
he may have been closer than we thought.
Yeah, he may have. We may have rode by him by accident. But we went on down the trail a little bit on the side by side and stopped about, I don't know, we went down there about 200 yards, owl hooted again. And anyways, the turkey that we was looking for didn't respond, and 2 or 3 more even further out, responded to me.
They were real vocal.
Yeah, hit it again, and they hit it, really quick. Well, this guy's not talking, so we're going to go to these. And anyway,
we knew about we could tell where they were on a property.
Yeah, we knew they were kind of in there deep, right on that back fence of the property, So we went in there and moved down in there, crossed the ditch, got closer to them, and went to one of the bigger fields where we was really wanting to set up and hunt at because we already had a blind there. It's pretty common for turkeys to come out there. We was kind of hoping to catch them there, and owl hooted, and they're still a good ways off, and it's crap. It's going to be half a day trying to call them here.
They may or they may not have come.
May or may not, yeah. And you know, we heard a wad of hens that was, you know, separate from the gobblers. You know, and anyways, I'm gonna get ahead of myself telling too much, but anyways, me and you decided to move around on these birds and went back around, got away from the blind, and got up on the ridge back there with them on the back fence back there, and wound up calling out or owl hooting. And it was 4 gobblers. It wasn't just a couple of them. There was 4 of them in this area, and they were all separated except for 2 of them. We had one out in front, 200 yards, one off to the left, you know, 150 or so, and then we had 2 that were around the corner, not more than 100 yards. And thank God they were around the corner. They couldn't see us, and there was a lot of pine thickets between us and them. So
to set that up, so we had on this side of the property, we're joined by a pretty big cattle ranch.
Yeah.
And they keep it manicured.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's got some hardwood timber before you get to our land. Then we've got our, you know, property line or whatever, and we've got some pretty thick back in that side. It's kind of hardwood mixed pine, and then it's pine plantation over the road. So there's this transition area.
Yeah.
And that's where those turkeys were. They were back in that kind of the thick stuff in between that open ranch and the pine plantation. So the hens were actually in the pines, I think.
The hens were actually in the pines, you know, right there not far from us. They were just kind of the closest one, and I didn't see her, but I could hear her, and she might have been 40 yards, if that. And I didn't hear her until after I started kind of sitting down, just kind of tree yelping and clucking a little bit and purring and just making a little noise, you know, get everything woke up and let them know I was over there. And then all of a sudden the hens started talking to me. It's like, well, crap, they're right here on top of us, not far at all. If they fly down, they're going to be, you know, in range if they fly down. But anyways, we sit up right there and called to them and got the hens talking back and forth, just soft calling, getting the hens to respond back to me, just trying to make them feel comfortable that I was there. You know, there's another turkey here, and not get them. I usually don't call aggressive when there's hens in the area. Try to get those hens to be, I guess, curious.
Yeah,
and
you don't want them to come up and bust you out, right?
Yeah, because they're competing for, you know, that gobbler. You know, so if you go hard on them, then you know, if they can lead him off. They have a bunch of times. So, anyways, I sat right there, and the turkey kept gobbling. I was like, well, I mean, it's now or never. You know, I think they've hit the ground. The hens hadn't flew down yet. I didn't hear them fly down. I said, but I think these gobblers on the ground, because kind of tell they were moving a little bit. I was like, they got to be down. So it's now or never. I'm going to have to get on them pretty hard. So, you know, I went to cutting and yelping real hard. And every time I did it, they were bam, bam, bam. They were on the call. So I kind of knew like they're going to come up here. As long as these hens don't fly down and take them off, you know, in the next 10 minutes, surely they'll come around, around the bend here. And they did. They come around. It's 2 gobblers come around the bend. First one come through. He wasn't strutting. But the second one came through. He was a strutter. He
blowed up.
He was blowed up, walking sideways when he come around the road there. So I popped him when he come around the side of the road.
It was a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. Mikey told me it don't always work like that.
No.
You don't get in on them, sit down, and they come exactly where you want them to.
No, because I got down there about, I don't know, a little after 8. Y'all was already back, like,
oh yeah,
hanging out, drinking coffee.
It was 1 hour. I want to say about how long it was from the time Mikey sat down till we had the bird. You know, did a little video. I didn't get to shoot any of the actual. I didn't see the turkeys. I mean, when turkeys are gobbling and all that, if you're new to it, or at least me being new to it, it puts me in freeze mode. I mean, I don't know. You know, I don't want to screw nothing up. I know how good an eyesight they have. I know how good they can hear, and if the least little thing will ruin a hunt. So I wasn't going to be sitting out trying to get my phone out of my pocket and film Mikey, which I couldn't see it anyway, the side it was on. Mikey was just set up right. He was right. He was on the edge kind of, and he kind of, they really probably were only, they could have came 3 ways, I guess, the way we were sitting. But they came the wrong way, didn't they?
They did.
So what side of the bog blind was y'all on? Was y'all toward Heartbreak or toward the other end?
Toward the other end. We was I don't know, maybe 150, 200 yards down that road, right before you get to where it bends, where that old stand used to be at. Right, the turkeys were actually roosted on that fence line, on that west.
Whereas the hardwood's kind of down that way some.
It's thick. I mean, it's a lot thicker than I thought it would be for turkeys.
We walked that whole pine Sunday looking for sheds, and I thought it would open up some this year. Heck no, it's thicker than it was last year. It's way thicker.
But the road's kind of wider back there. We're in that lane chart.
Yeah, there was, I mean, right there, I mean, there was, like Michael said, I mean, we were just set up right. Sometimes that happens, sometimes it don't. You know, and a lot of times you don't realize what kind of situation you're in until everybody wakes up and starts talking. You know, you may get in on a gobbler. He's early, and then all of a sudden you realize, well, crap, there's hens 50 yards other side of him. Now what? You know, if you go to calling aggressive to him.
And you can't go towards them.
No, once you sit down and you're that close,
you're locked in.
You don't want to move.
Yeah.
Because especially if you started calling, because they're looking to see, like, hey, you know, where's she at? You know, she done got down over there, you know. So if you're within, you don't want a chance moving because they might see you. Any kind of little movement might spook you.
I've been with Daddy plenty of times where you might have a gobbler out there, but there'll be another one not saying a word that's coming right to you.
Yeah. And
you'll never know he's there until he pops out. And that one's still down there 50 yards gobbling, and he's on you at 15, you know.
So we had another one that was back towards Heartbreak, and that's the one Mikey really wanted to kill.
Yeah.
He said he thought it was an older bird. This bird that came to us was, what do you think? He was about 2 years old, probably.
2 years old, yeah.
He wasn't he wasn't real old. I mean, he had some decent spurs and decent beard on him, but
he ain't getting no older.
He wasn't a deep gobbler.
No, that one that was back off to the left about 150, 200 yards down in that hollow. You know, I was expecting him to beat them up there. You know, it was just one of those things where he knew I was closer to those birds, so I kind of figured he would get down and start booking it up there to me. You know, I was just expecting him just to pop out in the road at any minute. And, you know, then before he could even get up there, those other two, I was actually looking off down in there, like trying to look and see if I could see him coming up the side of that hill, that ridge, because you kind of see down in there where it kind of, those, you know, like you said, those pines and those hardwood mixes down in, I could see down in there all the way down.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to see that, you know, black blob coming up through there in just a minute, you know, and then I happened to cut my eyes back over and dadgum, there comes those two around the corner. So we were set up perfect. I mean, you know, the only better way would have been another gobbler behind us, you know, and we would have been dead in the middle of them somehow. You know, and had
you'd be on a head on a swivel then.
Yeah. That'd have been hectic. You didn't have, you know, one coming behind you. You don't know. I hate that.
Well, that's the one thing with hunting early season here. The trees don't have any leaves, so you ain't got a whole lot of cover out there.
Yeah. If you're hunting open hardwoods and you get within 100, 150 yards of a bird that's up in a tree 20, 30, 40 feet, just depending on how far up he went, you better be sitting down when you start calling.
Yeah.
So
they can spot you so much easier.
Yeah.
So I see your topic today is kind of turkey hunting and tactics, and since you brought that up, I'm fixing to roll this question out, and we'll get back to talking about y'all's turkey hunt, but talking about leaves being on the tree. How much difference do you notice as far as judging distance before and after leaves of hearing that turkey gobble?
A lot.
How much further you can hear one right now with no leaves versus a month from now when it's greening up?
Yeah.
You hear one then, you better be ready.
Yeah.
Because he's close.
I have blowed gobblers off the roost before, you know, hunting with a guy that we hunted this one piece of property, and I didn't have permission to hunt it. And anyways, I ain't heard a bird in 2 weeks.
So y'all was trespassing?
No. He had no. I hadn't heard a bird in 2 weeks. I was hunting government land and stuff like that, and just really wasn't having no luck for about 2 weeks there. You know, just nothing. You know, and the guy called me back to hunt with him. We'd already killed one bird early in that season. It was his first time turkey hunt, and I called a bird up for him. He killed it, and I went back. Well, the leaves had kind of filled out. You know, they had filled out everywhere, and we got in the same area, and I owl hooted, turkey gobbles. We start down, you know, down through the woods, owl hoot again. Sounds like he's, you know, on further out a little, you know, pretty good piece. Nope.
Right up on top.
Walked about 30, 40 more yards, and he freaking flew out of the tree 40 yards in front of us. Dadgummit.
So what do you do in that? So you know where he's at then.
Oh, you're done right there.
No, if he jumps off roost.
No, you blow him off at roost.
He's quiet.
Oh, he's not gonna make any more noise.
He might later on in the day or something. He ain't for a little while because you spooked him. He's scared. He knows there was something down there looking for him.
Yeah,
and he's pretty much gone for the day.
I tell you, when we were kind of walking through the thicket Sunday, you know, them pines got to do the same thing because I mean they still got cover on them, so it's not like hunting open hardwoods or nothing like that. You're still getting a good kind of muffling the gobble if they are in those pines.
So when we started calling, we were on the front side of the property up on top of the hill. So we had a really good advantage to hear them, and you could pinpoint direction.
Yeah.
When you got back over there, it was muffled up because of those pines.
Yeah.
And so we knew they weren't close to the field where we were hoping they would be. They were on the other side of those pines.
Well, that and you drop off on the bottom, and it's pretty much flat ground at that point. You know, it's not too many hills over there on that side.
That's right.
So you don't have that echo sound from the hollows and everything else like that.
That's a good point. I'm glad you brought that up because that is you know, tactics and stuff like that. As the season changes, those leaves start coming out and things like that, you have to be really, really careful because those birds are a lot closer than you think they are. If you're hearing them gobble, and when it's real dense with leaves, he's not really far.
He's not as far as you think he is.
But we had 3 or 4 talk to us that morning.
Yeah.
And we might, if you'd had somebody else with you, y'all might could have doubled up. But I got so excited and was laughing and hollering and I was like, man, I didn't think about it till later. It's like, man, I should have shut up.
Just back up and kept
let
calling.
Mikey, let Mikey try it because I mean we blew everything out that was in there. I'm sure. I don't know how that. I guess that's how it works. If they heard the shot, I know, so they knew something was wrong, and then
they were. I think the other gobblers were interested. And they were coming because after we shot, it was just crickets.
Yeah,
it was nothing.
And you did call a little bit.
I did try to call a little bit to see if I could get them to, respond back to me, and it was nothing. So they were pretty daggum close.
What'd you tell them after you shot? That wasn't a shot.
Yeah, just come on back up here. It's good. They got Ray, but it'll be all right.
But we did get, so we went on and, we filmed some videos that day. And me and Mike, we were going to move some cameras around, check on some batteries we changed out on the other property. And we knew there'd been a turkey over there because we've been seeing him walk past the camera. But the camera batteries went dead. So we swapped them out after the hunt that morning. And in that afternoon, it never reset. So I was like, man, we need to go back and check that camera and see why. Is it going to pick up? We didn't do a little test picture. That's usually what we do. So we went back out there, and Mikey had his box call with him. And so it's like, well, let's just, hit this call and see if anything talks. Man, he didn't get 3 strokes out on that old box call, and that joker was.
He hammered off at 100 yards.
He was right there. I mean, he was watching us, I imagine. And we didn't have nothing with us. So it's like, man, so Mikey's like, well, let's go back and get the gun, try to set up on him, see if we can get him to come up here because he's wanting to bad. And it was just the right day. So we went back to the house and we were back. I don't know, it probably took us 10, 15 minutes, didn't it? I don't know. It was like I was chucking, trying to put stuff on. We got back up there and set up, just jumped up on on the fence line there, kind of where we dove hunted.
Yeah.
And tried to set back in there. And man, the sun was beating down on us that day. And we couldn't get him to say nothing else.
No, I think we might have.
He knew what was going on.
Yeah, when they're hot, they're hot.
Yeah.
And some days you get on them and they're not, and some days you get on them and you liable to call one time to that bird once. You hear those old timers say, if he answers you, set the call down, because eventually he will come. And I think that's what happened with that bird.
He was already on the way.
I shouldn't have tried to locate him with the box call. I should have had that, crow call or woodpecker call or something to, blow out there and get him, shot gobble him. And I used the box call, so he automatically knew, hey, there's a hen up here wanting to do something, So I think by the time we got to the camp, changed out and got back, I think he was already slipping through that grass and may have seen us when we went over to set up.
Yeah.
But
we're going to get him, though. We're going to get him.
We got a couple more weekends.
Oh, yeah. It's just getting started. It ain't gotten. So after that was opening day. The weather set in. It rained.
Weather.
It got cold. It got windy. I took Michael Saturday afternoon. We had one turkey gobble way away from us and never saw him anymore. And then Mikey came down there Saturday evening. And we went back Sunday morning. We was going to take Michael again, see if we could get him on a bird. Man, it was, 26 degrees.
It was cold Sunday.
wind was supposed to be. We looked.
Almost supposed to be 4 miles an hour.
Yeah, it had to be 10, 15.
It was gusting.
It was gusting. You couldn't hear nothing.
Miserable day.
We went out there to set, blowed a couple times, never heard nothing. Went and set for a little while, never heard anything. It was just no luck whatsoever that day.
I know several people went that morning, and they all said it was just crickets.
Oh, everybody texted me. Did y'all hear anything?
Nope.
I said, no. They said they didn't hear. I mean, nobody's hear anything. But how many people will actually tell you if they're checking on you? Are they going to tell you they had any luck?
If you got friends that own property or hunt property that you don't hunt, it's good to have a little circle. You know,
how the turkeys.
What are you hearing? What are you hearing? You know, and
if y'all all hunting the same property, no.
If you're all hunting the same property, they ain't gonna tell you they heard it. No.
Hush mouth.
Yeah. If they do tell you, it ain't gonna be on the end.
I told you last week when Mikey wasn't here. If he goes down there and hunt by himself and he comes back for breakfast, he gonna tell you no. It don't matter. He's gonna tell you no.
But yeah, it's good. It's good to talk to your buddies and stuff that's in your area or whatever, because it helps you. It makes you feel better. Like, dadgum, did I? Especially if you're new doing it, did I do something wrong? What was did I run the turkeys off when I killed that one, or did they just not say nothing? And those days like that, I don't really like hunting on those days. If I can't hear him or he doesn't answer me, I'm not that guy that'll. I may sit out there for a little while if I made a pretty good trip to go somewhere and just hang out. But if it's like down at camp where I can run back, go eat breakfast, cook breakfast, check cameras, do something, got something else I can do to kind of occupy my day. Yeah, and let it warm up and maybe the wind dies down and then go back midday or something. Because I might kill a lot of turkeys in the middle of the day. It was a bad morning, didn't hear nothing, and then all of a sudden we went back after lunch and here they go. Warmed up, and bugs got out and they got out in the fields and it's just we didn't give up on them, but some days it's not worth staying in there.
I ain't never thought about that. Bugs.
Mm-hmm.
Man, we need to stop and get us a tube of crickets and just throw it there in the food pot before we go.
Is that baiting if you put cricket buckets all out in the field?
I don't know.
Just red and yellow cricket buckets all over the field.
We can get them reeled on in.
They come on to it.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
But y'all went turkey hunting that morning. I slipped down there after y'all got done because, y'all already beat me to what I was wanting to find. Me and you, what day was that? Friday?
That was
or Thursday?
Thursday afternoon.
Yeah, it was Thursday. So
because we filmed Wednesday, did some recipes and stuff, and then we came back Thursday.
Me and you filmed a 450 Bushmaster.
We did the Bear Creek 450 Bushmaster. They sent us one, and then we went out, kind of shed hunting a little bit. We were
lazy
looking.
Man shed hunting in.
Yeah, we were pretty much just riding and looking.
But we pulled up on a bedding area that I've never paid attention to. I've never seen it there. And we just happened to stumble upon it. It was basically kind of like we always talked about, a south-facing hill in the sun. They could back up under some, I don't know, them wasn't privet bushes, but I don't know what kind of bush it was right there. Some kind of little bush, They backed up under there, and it was, you can ask Malcom, it was down to raw dirt. All the way underneath it. And I was like, man, this is a heck of a bedding area. And we knew old Ricky, he'd been hanging out in that area all year. And I just happened to look down, and there's a shed laying there. Pretty as you please. And we had just joked about it, like, man, we need to find Ricky's.
That's the one I wanted to find. I wanted to find his full set.
Yeah. So we found that was the left-hand side antler we found.
Yeah. And he's not a great deer. He's injured. He's got a bad leg. We never saw him during hunting season.
No,
because
unique.
Probably had to take him on out.
Unique looking deer.
But his horns just kind of melt on top. They all turn down, just look like
it's
hot
terrible.
wax.
I don't know what happened to him, but anyway, so we found the left-hand side antler, and I walked around a little bit and looked right there in the vicinity.
I looked down the other side of the hill, son.
And didn't find the other one. Well, I guess Sunday morning y'all found it, didn't it? Or was it Saturday?
It was Sunday morning.
Yeah.
Sunday morning, we were making a loop back around. We were going to call over there on the other property again, see if we could hear another turkey, because we didn't have any luck on the other place. And so we eased around there and come back around through where our turnip field was. And it was down the hill, maybe 200 yards from where we found the first side, just laying there pretty as you please in the middle of the turnip field. Well, you couldn't miss it. And me and you had done drove.
We done rode
right
all
by
over
it.
Yeah.
And I'd rode by it, I don't know how many times in the past couple weeks, and it wasn't there. So I think he dropped that one somewhere in between where we were there Thursday and then Sunday.
So that was my hunting last weekend. I went shed hunting. So
then I had him on camera last night. Was it night before last?
Night before last.
He's on camera. I can tell
his legs picked up.
His legs picked up. Yeah.
Heck yeah, that's pretty cool.
He's running around with two other deer, and they're probably bucks that have dropped too.
Yeah,
because he had some younger ones he was running with.
Well,
he's not an old deer.
No, he don't look like he is.
Yeah.
I got fired up because I got up Saturday morning. I said, heck, I got to go get the garbage can from the road. I grabbed Gus. I said, we're going to walk through the thicket at the house on the way to the road, just see. I ain't a bit more stepped in the woods for 10 minutes. Gus over had his nose down. I could tell he had something. And I walked on, sure enough, there it was, half of 8-point laying right there. I mean, it wasn't 30 yards from my front door, just in the thicket.
Did y'all look around for the other half of it?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure this one had been moved because it was chewed up pretty good by squirrels, look like, and it was literally at the base of kind of a den oak tree right there. So I'm pretty sure a squirrel done drug it over there, moved it. But heck, we went down there Sunday. Me and a buddy of mine, Jody, and Gus went, and heck, I probably walked. We done a little bit back there behind the camp, and then one over there to the other property in them pines because that's where we found all of them last year. We walked in pine thickets and did not see a single shed. And heck, like you said, the very next night, they were still on camera toting antlers.
Yeah. I mean, during the day, they were coming across that trail right where Mikey killed. So we moved the camera back there where Mikey killed his turkey. Just trying to see if any more of the other gobblers are going to come around. We're trying to find us a honey hole, you know.
Now,
we're still seeing bucks.
We talked, talking about those deer still holding the horns. A friend of ours, a guy that we, I talk to sometimes, he texted me after hearing the podcast a couple weeks ago and was telling me that, just from his experience, what we done with keeping food plots in the summertime or keeping food on the ground all year long is one of the reasons why those deer are still holding those horns. We changed their, what do you say, keratin? Is that, I think that's
creatine?
Something
like that.
Change one of them fancy words.
Yeah.
So taking the stress off of the deer competing for food in a, harsh time like now where there's, not a lot, well, not right now, everything's kind of greening up now, but, in those times when they're really searching for, protein and stuff like that, trying to build themselves up and, survive and do those things, we've created that environment for them, and it's a more lax, laid-back environment for them, so they will hold their horns a little bit longer than they normally do just because of that.
When they get ready to drop, it's got to be within the next few weeks.
Yeah.
It can't be much longer because they're going to start putting them back on.
Yeah.
But they're going to instantly start putting back on as soon as they drop.
Yeah. Yeah, they're going to be right there almost in that growth season when they come off now. I mean, we're mid-March, we're into March.
Yeah.
We're into March, fixing to hit April, so they're fixing to get in those warm seasons and start, growing again. So we accomplished a goal that we were trying to accomplish and we didn't even realize it, but that's what's happening out there. That's why they're still holding those horns.
Because we were done shed hunting this time last year.
Yeah, it was over with.
Yeah. We were done before turkey season last year.
Yeah, we were done before turkey season.
But we didn't have, we didn't have that property the year before.
To plant it.
To plant it for summer. And then we took a lot of doe off that property, so that cuts the stress on bucks down too. Not as much competition,
Like we always say, we do what we know how to do. We ain't experts or nothing like that.
That's right.
We accidentally done something and not accidentally. Our intentions were to, make it a better environment.
We didn't know the side effect.
Yeah, we didn't know what those side effects would be or how to, read those, things that we see on the deer. And that's one of the things that we were trying to accomplish, and we did, and we just got to keep it going. So,
well, I'm interested to see how the year-round food plots and the cover that we're leaving with the edges and stuff like that is going to help the turkey population next year too, because we should have. With what we've seen turkey numbers in the winter, and then what we're seeing in the spring, if a lot of those poults survive that are going to get hatched this year, we should have a great turkey population next year. Yeah. And it should keep getting better as long as you improve the habitat.
Yeah.
That's that's really, you don't think about that in hunting. You think about, most people think about, during the season, what you're going to do. If you're going to see deer, you're going to get a chance to shoot them. You're going to hear turkeys in the turkey season. But you got to think about it as a year-round ecosystem for them to live in, to where it provides, where they want to be there, where they can thrive there. That's what's going to make your numbers, and then it's going to improve your chances during hunting seasons.
So I know we've preached hack and squirt every podcast, seems like in the last month, but I walked where we done all the hack and squirt last year, down between Pond and Wayland Stand, Have you walked in there about 100 yards?
I went through there once this year.
So about where we stopped, it is unreal what it looks like now. It's
Daylight to the ground.
There's not a tree one in the canopy. It's probably 50 yards by 30 yards. Every tree is broke off on the ground about waist high. You know, they got a little stump on them, but it's all these treetops, and it is greenery's already coming up. And talking about turkey nests, like it's a safe haven. I mean, it is so much cover right there right now for these animals, and it looks great. And
can you walk through it, or is it too thick?
Yeah,
no, you can walk through it.
Yeah,
but it may not be by the end of this.
Yeah, it'll be gone.
Oh, once growth starts.
Once that growth starts, and they don't tell how many sawbriars and which is what you want. I mean, that's food for the deer.
Yeah.
But it's a completely different landscape, and I got some footage of it, and we'll try to share that. But man, we need to get down there and kind of do a walkthrough and show
what it looks.
Yeah, show what it looks like.
After effect.
Yeah.
A year later, this is what you got. You know, you didn't tear up your property. You didn't. You know, it wasn't invasive. You know, you got cover and you got food already there. So definitely, I was thoroughly impressed.
Where years before that was all shade.
That was
when
all
we
shade.
first got
It was wide open.
there was no daylight getting to the ground.
Well, what I noticed was, it's got that ditch that runs right down the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of, some of those places were washing around those trees because nothing could grow. And now, like the edges of that ditch, it's got green grass growing right along it, and it's starting to fill in. It's not washing anymore, and it was impressive, no doubt.
As long as we don't replace it with sweet gums, we'll be all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not going to stop it though. That's what's
No,
going
Just go back in there with the hatchet again.
Yeah.
Either go in there with a hatchet or start burning and keep them off.
Yeah. Now see, that's where your prescribed burn comes in.
Yeah, hack and squirt goes along with hand in hand with burning, prescribed burning. So when you hack and squirt and you create that open canopy where the grass is going to grow and stuff like that, you're still going to have that. I mean, they're windblown seeds just like grass and things like that. Those sweet gums are. So they're going to blow back in there. You're going to get those little saplings, but then you come in and burn it and kill them, and your grass recovers way faster than your trees do. So
And your mature trees are thriving because they're healthy. They can use the nutrients that the other stuff's not pulling from them.
Yeah.
And the fire doesn't bother them.
Yeah. It's a good process. I mean, it's a natural process, killing the trees and burning and stuff like that. And that's just what you're trying to do. You try not to disturb your property so much. That's what we did. But anyways, moving on. So let's run through this pretty quick. I know a lot of y'all don't know who Mr. Fox is with Mossy Oak, but that is Toxic Hayes' father. And he was a big part of a lot of their, of course, of their lives, but in the hunting industry itself, just
Especially turkey hunting.
Turkey hunting, yes,
Loves it.
So Mossy Oak had this deal this weekend. They had one last weekend in Nashville.
No, the big NWTF or whatever in Nashville was last month. It was several weeks ago.
So they designed a vest to honor him. They produced 1,944 vests exactly that are numbered vests.
You know why 1944?
That was the first year he killed a turkey.
Right.
So
that's a long time ago.
Yeah, no kidding. But anyways,
My daddy wasn't even born then.
I know, mine either.
We didn't have any turkeys around where that part of the country where we were from.
No,
North Mississippi didn't.
No, we didn't have any up here. But anyways, Mr. Fox was, he's like 90-something years old. So Tox and his group and all them, they went in and created a vest and to honor him. And they numbered these vests. So Mossy Oak had this big event over the weekend where you could show up down there and you could acquire one of these vests, and what was it, a box of Apex?
Apex
Numbered
ammunition that are numbered to match the vest.
Yeah. You had to buy the
Hand
vest
loaded.
first.
That was a hand loaded ammo.
Buy the vest first, and then you can, contact them and get the numbered box to match your vest. So a lot of collectors and things are, were after these turkey vests because these are, one-time run. They're not going to do them again.
The retail on that vest was like $450.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My buddy Jody, he's got 3 of them.
Really?
And
Dang.
he got one. His wife got one. Of course, his wife's a big turkey hunter too, and they got one for their oldest son.
Yeah.
So
So you had to go register and get a number, stand in line?
You had to go down there. I think you had to register, get in line. I heard rumors that there were people camping,
Yeah.
Days. Yeah.
waiting
No, there
on
was.
this-
There
on this
was.
vest and stuff. And
I was seeing people make TikTok videos of being there, being in line. I mean, they had their buddy heaters out. They had chairs, sleeping bags.
You know, that sounds crazy. That would be a blast. To me, it would. Like, because, I mean, you're doing it for...
I don't know about this weekend.
No,
I ain't
no.
standing in line for nothing for no 2 or 3 days.
But I'm
don't care
saying,
if it's
like,
all the
to be a
teeth
part of it and to see it, and,
Yeah.
you know, how many people come forward, you know, to support this. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a pretty big calling,
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
It
yeah,
is.
Definitely.
But they made a few more vests that are unnumbered vests because they felt bad because collectors were grabbing them, and it was a really great design vest.
How many people do you think are buying them just to resell them because they think it's going to be worth something? I bet you a lot.
Half, at least half. I think at least.
See, I don't know. I don't see that in like the hunting community. I mean, you got to have a few people that probably will, but the majority of these people that are really striving to get it are like #1 fans. You know,
Check
like
eBay. Let's see.
pull it up.
Let's see how many are on there. I mean, I get it. I mean, I get having one and all that, but I mean, what's the average turkey vest cost you? About $120 for a good one, like a
Spend as much
You
as you want.
can, yeah, you can go up. Like I was looking at them the other day, you know, because I've got one that's 30 years old. I was wanting to get another one. Seats wore out on it.
Yeah.
I was wanting to hang it up. And
So
anyway,
what price point are you looking at?
$200.
$200 for a turkey vest?
Never mind. There's some crooked turkey hunters out there wanting
I'm
to sell
telling
these
you, I
vests.
guarantee you there are. How many do you see? Like,
Oh, the whole front page.
it's all yeah. See,
Limited
they're all-
edition number 1646 is on eBay right now.
Number
for
what?
1646,
Oh, okay.
$4,000.
Dang. So they auctioned number 5 off at the National Wild Turkey Federation conference there in Nashville, and I want to say it went for 30 grand. Does that sound right?
I
35.
thought I heard 30 grand.
Was it? Yeah, it was crazy. Which that's for a good cause, you know.
Yeah. No doubt. I mean,
And it's
I'd
a piece
love
of
to
history.
have one.
Oh yeah,
I'd love to have
I'd
it.
love to have one.
That's what we were. Me and Darren.
I'm
were
not
talking the other
giving
day.
$5,000 for one, but
Darren got one. So
did he get a numbered one?
I didn't ask if he got a number. I don't think his is numbered.
Yeah.
But Darren got one, and he was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. I said, I know what I would do with it. Just me. I'd go out in it one time, kill a bird in it, and put it up, and
Give it to
hang
the
it up
kid.
hang it up somewhere.
See,
Yeah.
that's what I would have to
That's
do.
a
I'm like, you
collector piece.
kill a bird, either get that bird mounted or do some kind of fan display and put the vest with it, with the shot shell, everything, you
Yeah,
know.
that would be cool.
But I don't think I'll continue to wear it all the time, you know, especially if it was a numbered one. I definitely wouldn't wear the numbered one, you know, just wear it to be wearing it. But put it up in my, you know, put it up somewhere and as a collector piece, and you know, because they're not gonna make them no more.
No, I mean that's it.
But that's not the first like vest they've done, is it?
No, they did a Bob Dixon.
Yeah, Bob
back-
Dixon was the other one.
He was one of the.
I don't know who Bob Dixon is.
He was one of the guys that was kind of the. Toxic Hayes was the, you know, he's the founder, CEO, owner, or whatever. But he had a group of people with him as they
Started Mossy Oak.
and Bob Dixon was one of those people.
Okay.
Kind of went in and on the front end with him, and
So
he
it's
died of cancer years ago.
Oh.
And they
it's
ran a
similar
test for
to
him.
the same kind of thing. Like they made 1,986 of those, and again they're on eBay for $2,800.
Yeah, 1986. That was the year they created
Started.
Mossy Oak.
Yeah, that's when Mossy Oak started.
But that's pretty cool. That's who would have thought turkey vest?
Yeah, turkey vest run. I mean, you can pick up turkey vest at, you know, Walmart or Academy or
Magellan.
something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
you
can
can
buy
get
the
those. I
Magellan
mean, they're all different. You just got to find one that fits you. That
I gotta find mine. I have no idea where mine's even at.
they make all different kinds. I mean, they like the Mr. Fox vest. It's like a shoulder, like just a shoulder strap that comes around. It's got the flaps on the side, you know, and the big seat in the back on.
That's
it,
what
stuff
mine.
like that.
I have Old Tom, and that's what it's like.
And see, mine is like a full jacket.
Yeah, that's how Daddy's
Mine
is.
goes over your shoulders, kind of like a rabbit hunting vest or something. It feels out. The only thing that sticks out is my arms, and then it comes down all the way down. I got pockets from the top of my chest all the way down to my waist, and you know, mine's got a lot of pockets on it. Sometimes that's good, sometimes that's bad. You put crap in it, forget it, and you know, old sweet cake or a Swiss roll from last turkey season, you're digging around in there and find it.
That's what we need to talk about, or we need to get like get the community involved, or Buck Junkies or whatever. It's like, what's in your turkey vest?
Yeah.
Because I got to talking to Jody.
Oh, I'm fixing to tell you what's in mine here in just a little bit.
I was like, man, what in the world? Like, why are you toting all this? I'm talking about like
stuff to carry.
Yeah, like everything, hand saws, like you name it. I'm like,
Yep.
he's like, well, you never know. You got to cut a limb, make your little blind up real quick. And I was like, hey, man, I got like a call, like 1 or 2 calls and
Box call, slate
Yeah.
call,
a couple little Debbies, and we're ready to go.
some shells. How many shells do you take turkey hunting?
5 a box.
I usually just put 2 or 3 in my pocket.
I've been deer hunt with you with no shells before, though.
Yeah.
I've seen you run out in the stand.
I didn't bring enough.
Yeah.
The only reason I carry that many, I don't like carrying a bunch of them because they get heavy. But
Yeah,
and
that's
they
why
get
I was
beat up.
asking. I mean,
But I never know when I'm a call up a coyote or something. I got to bust him and wouldn't, and put another shell in the gun and get ready to go back to turkey hunting. But so what kind of vest do you got?
it's old Tom.
Old Tom. And it's
It's a big man, old Tom. Got it from bigcamo.com.
See, I don't know why they didn't put them big old thick seats
is
on the
most
ones
good.
when I first started turkey. It was a little thin pad, like
Yeah.
a 1 inch, 1.5 pad. Boy, and you sit on that thing now compared to those
Oh,
ones
yeah.
like you got.
Yeah. Mine's got it's got a nice pad. It's magnetic, so it's quiet. It's got plenty of pockets for everything. It works for me. But it doesn't. It's not a full vest. It's got the
Yeah.
It's kind of like straps with the pockets down low at the waist height and 2 closures on it. to
One of the other
go
big
across it.
things that you want to try, I seen Darren had a shirt on like his, but some turkey vests had that pad like right between the shoulder blades or on the
Yeah.
shoulder blades that a lot of people don't think about. It's not in mine.
I wish it was in mine.
And when you lean against that tree, you've got some kind of cushion and support there to be able to, sit there longer because you never know. I mean, you might sit on a bird for a while. He'll stand out there in front of you and hang up and you can't get up. You don't want to get
Yeah.
up. So you're there. You want to be comfortable. But like mine, it's a National Wild Turkey Federation vest that I bought. What was that place up there on Goodman Road?
Oak tree
Oak Tree Outdoors.
Oak Tree Outdoors. That's where I bought that thing at. Man, that was freaking 30 years ago.
has to be. They ain't been open in 20 years.
But I went in there and bought that vest there, and I mean I've seen all different kinds. Dude, you just gotta find one that fits you that you like and you're comfortable with. Like Mark said, some of us carry a lot of stuff with us when we go turkey hunting. If you don't turkey hunt a bunch, you don't have to buy a $200 vest with all them pockets. If you're just going every now and then, and you got a handful of calls that you put in there, you can get one of those cheaper, smaller ones.
So what's in your what's your loadout for turkey vest?
Number one, I got my locators in there. I usually carry at least 2 locators. I got a crow call and I have an owl hooter in there. Those stay in my top. I have 2 top pockets up on my chest. That's where those stay. I got another pocket that's off to the left of my chest that I keep a compass in because you used to when I hunted government woods and like askew and things like that. You get turned around in there. You better have a compass with you.
Did you catch yourself using it?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, you get off turkey hunting and start running and gunning and chasing something and looking up and you know what I mean. You kind of lose, especially if you're hunting on a national forest or something that's 30, 40,000 acres.
You ain't got
you
cell
get way
service.
off.
You ain't going to your phone.
You're not going to your phone.
Yeah.
And you get off down in there and get lost. You got to find your way back out. So, and getting direction on midday, sun straight overhead, you don't know.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell which way is north or south.
You turn around on a bird.
Turn around. But I usually have that. That's in my pocket. And then as you go down, I've got, I usually carry at least 2 slate calls, 2 strikers. I've got 1 box call. I've got at least 4 mile calls in my pocket.
So why do you take two slates, 2 strikers?
Well, I said slate calls. One of them is a true slate, and then one is a glass call.
Glass.
Just for different tones?
Different tones. I've had birds answer a slate call and not answer the glass call. I've had them answer the glass call and not answer the slate call, just vice versa. And the strikers are a little different on each one. They're pretty much made for that call, so you need to make sure you carry the striker that came with the call. And then I usually carry one. I only carry 1 box call. I used to carry 2, but I put it in that pocket and it beat around and I had room for 1, so I carry 1 box call. And then on the inside of there, I've got the mouth calls in there. And then like Mark said, Jody, you carry some kind of a little pruner or hand snips or
Like a Leatherman or something?
some kind of a little hand saw or something to, because you get in there and you're in the perfect spot and you find the tree you want to get in, you sit down and there's a freaking sweet gum right in your face. You need to bob off a limb or 2. You want to be quiet about it. So, face mask, shells, water, snacks, Huh?
gloves.
Yeah,
All that's
gloves,
going in
your
your.
turkey vest. You need to put it where you can find it.
Yeah. So is that the only bag you're taking? You don't have a backpack or any kind of other shoulder bag or anything?
I picked that vest up. That's why I always make sure I put everything back where I got it from. When I get through hunting, I make sure I put it back in there. Make sure I, got everything I need. That way, the next morning when I get up, I put it on. I know I'm good to go. And each pocket, they have different kind of pockets for certain things. You have like slate pockets. You have box call pockets. You have a place to put Malcoms, and it's just not rambling around in the vest.
Yeah.
There's designed pockets for those things. So,
Do you take a rangefinder or binoculars or anything ever?
Man, binoculars are so heavy. I don't take them a lot of times. If I do, it's a small pair, but not normally. No, there's been times I needed to take a freaking pair of binoculars because I sat out there and called to buzzards in the field for an hour, thinking they were a turkey down the field.
It's like, man, we own them. They out there. Did you really?
Yes, I swear I did.
Never seen
That was when I first started out. We were hunting big fields, and man, we peeped out on this field, and there's 3 or 4 black birds in the wide open fields. Oh, there's turkeys right there. We eased around on them and set up where we couldn't hardly see them, and
I went belly crawling on buzzards.
Belly crawling on the freaking buzzards.
How'd you realize? How long did it take you to realize they were buzzards?
When they flew off.
See them
Flew
out
off
there
and made a circle.
pecking on the
Turkeys, you ever
armadillo.
seen them do that? Yeah, they got no armadillo.
Yeah,
out
I ain't never seen a turkey eat an armadillo.
Turkey buzzards, man. That's
Yeah.
what they call them.
It happens.
I've drove by and said, man, look at all them turkeys, and there'd be some
Yeah.
buzzards sitting there. Fooled me.
I seen a long beard the other day running down the road. Ooh, he's pretty. Right there by Hellia.
Dang. You better watch
You better
that.
watch out.
So, yeah, those are the things that are my best, and some of the, we've talked about shells and things like that. Your shells that you pick, make sure they're the design for your gun. Always empty out the shells from last year because I may change. I may have shot this brand of shell this year, and next year may have been more impressed or got a new gun or so. I don't never keep the same shells in there, so I clean those out and put new shells in every year.
What are you shooting this year?
I'm shooting Winchester XRs, number 5s.
Longbeards.
Yep, a 3-inch. They impressed me. There's probably some better shells out there. It may not be, but for my gun, I was highly impressed with the pattern that came out of that gun with the choke combo I've got in that shell. It was.
What choke are you running now?
Oh, mine is a Pittman choke tube. It's about 15 years old.
And 870, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's an old choke tube. I don't even know if they make them no more. Pittman, he was a big turkey hunter back in the day. Had calls and
Preston Pittman, that was it,
Preston
right?
Pittman.
I remember that name.
Mm-hmm. And I kept it in that gun for years, and it's always patterned real well. So, but yeah, I mean, and those XRs are excellent shells, And I've shot some other ones that are really good. I mean, you shot some TSSs, didn't you? And
Yeah, the federal TSS, those have been their high dollar.
yeah,
But I'm gonna say, out of my gun, and I did buy the Carlson XR choke tube.
mm-hmm.
The XR is patterned better out of that XR choke than
That's
I didn't buy that. I hadn't tried. I don't have a TSS choke. You could shoot these out of it.
Yeah.
But I had more, I don't know, I guess you'd call it center mass pellets with those cheaper bullets than I did the TSSs, and the TSSs is such a small shot. I don't see, what's the advantage over shooting those? Do y'all know? It's not range, because the effective range on them still like 40, 50 yards.
The tungsten is the biggest thing, ain't it? Just because it's heavier.
It's supposed to fly far. I know I've seen people say, "Oh, we can shoot them 75 yards with that shell," but I would not want to try that.
Man, this is my opinion and my opinion only, but I've always shot the 4, 5s, or 6s. I never went smaller than a 6 shot.
Yeah.
Your 4s and your 5s and 6s have a little knockdown to them, where your 9 is such a small pellet.
Yeah. I think they make 8, maybe 7s and 8s in them, but
Yeah. I've seen one guy, he was shooting 9s, and there's nothing wrong with that. If that's what you're comfortable with, that's what you do.
Yeah.
I'm not dogging it. It's just I'm not comfortable with it, because I have, I've bought some shells that were, that smaller shot, and they didn't pattern correctly in my gun, and I didn't feel comfortable shooting them, especially with that pattern. I'd rather have that, heavier pellet.
I will say that I think of the number 4s that I had in the XRs, they thump a lot harder than the TSS shell.
Yeah. And the other thing is, like, when I'm turkey hunting, I'll shoot a coyote in a heartbeat. I'm gonna knock him down, so I kind of want that heavier shot too. I don't know what a coyote will do if you busted him with a freaking 8-shot. Knock the hair off of him and run off, or
I guess it depends how close he was. I guess.
But at 40 yards, I can dirt roll a coyote with a 4 or 5, or something like that, 4 or 5. But they there's a lot of different shells out there that you can find that do well. But talking about turkey calls and stuff like that, what's some of the who did y'all watch coming up? Turkey call or calling turkeys to try to learn from, or who you watching now?
Man, so I'm new to turkey hunting, so I remember some of those old names in turkey hunting, but I never had turkeys to hunt. Never got into it. We always deer hunted, and just recently, I started kind of searching because I got some mouth calls. I'm trying to have no clue what I'm doing. I'm watching videos.
Yeah,
that's the first thing you do. I would imagine. So I went to YouTube and just started searching how to use a mouth call for turkey. And the ones that I feel like have helped me is Michael Waddell. You kind of told me that he had some decent ones. So that's the ones I started watching. I've seen some other guys, seen some TikTok stuff, but he kind of dumbs it down, I guess you would say.
Yeah, he does.
And it got me making noise. I ain't saying I sound like a turkey at all, but it got me making noise.
Yeah, I think there's several of them out there. Primos has got one. Hunting the Public's got one. Mossy Oak.
Remember, Daddy, I was watching old Night and Hales.
I was fixing to say, back in the day, Night and Hales, and I don't even know if them guys are around anymore. I don't see any of their stuff no more. I need to look them up and see. But that's who I watched their videos when I was younger. That's who I learned to call from, was Night and Hale. And they had an instructional video. Hell, you had an instructional pack. Came like a DVD and 3 mile calls.
VHS tape.
Yeah, VHS tape or something like that that went along with it. But, Waddell, he does a good job of kind of, like you said, dumbing it down. And he gets in there, he purposely calls with the call wrong. Yeah. To kind of make you feel better about the noise.
That's what I sound like. When he's doing that, I said, I can make that noise.
Yeah. And that's the one I told my son to watch. Watch Michael Waddell, Bone Collector. Watch him. He goes through all the calls. The mouth call is one of the hardest ones to master, just because there's so many different ones. Everybody's head is different. So your mouth is wider and some people's more narrow, and trying to get the call to fit in your mouth correctly and stuff like that, it's a struggle. But you can watch him. He gives you a lot of good information on it.
At what point turkey hunting did you decide you were good enough or wanted to try the mouth call as opposed to taking your slate or grabbing it? Because I know
I just did it.
Just said I'm going to use mouth call.
See, I'd rather use a mouth call.
Any advice I can give somebody on a mouth call is get just your regular yelp down first. If you can get that down, the purring and the keys and all the other stuff, a cluck and just a cluck and a simple yelp, just yonk, 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 and get your cluck down. If you can do those two, you can get a bird up there. And then you can kind of progress from there and try more stuff. All of them mean something, but if you've ever heard old Nasty Hen stand out in a field calling,
she don't sound good.
Like hell.
Yeah, no.
She'll mess up.
That was one good thing about seeing a whole flock of hens and watching them for a long time deer hunting, is I got to hear this kind of sounds they were making, and some of them sound awful. I'm talking about like
it ain't what you think
or something. Yeah, it don't sound like you see these guys calling them videos or these turkey competitions or anything like that, where it's precise.
Yeah, they're calling competition. So y'all have heard. My mind just went blank. Phil Robertson with ducks. Mm-hmm. Same way with ducks. You get out there in them big hails and them big yelps and doing all, same way with turkey hunting. You're calling a bird to kill it. So they don't all they mess up just like we do. It's not all just in one cadence and it's exact and all.
There's no certain thing like that that's going to bring that bird to you.
Not if you need hens. They sound like they just put a marble out in an ashtray and they're trying to call.
Yeah, that's the one I heard. Yeah. It sound like they've been chain smoking for years.
But you need to understand what you're
2 pack a
saying.
day turkey. That's what I said.
You do need to understand what you're saying to them, though.
Yeah.
You know, because there are times when you don't want to call aggressive. You just want to.
Don't go out there and start putt-putting.
I think that's gonna be my main thing is when to not make no noise.
Yeah. It's
as
hard when you
opposed when
first
to
start
make noise.
calling. You want to call.
Yeah.
You know, you get to sounding good, and you want to. You same way with duck calling. You've been in there with that guy.
Well,
that's in the
especially if
duck
they
line.
respond back.
Yeah. So you're just steadily just making him gobble, making him gobble, making him gobble. You're steadily calling to him. And sometimes that's not good.
Best sounding one I got's that old push pull.
The
I got
finger
to
pushing.
kindergarten. I got the kindergarten turkey call.
Ain't nothing wrong.
You know what I'm talking about? It's got,
Yeah. I used to have one of the, heck, I think it was Primo's made it. It was one that, I don't know, I can't remember what it was called, but you done a vulgar movement to make it make noise. You, whoop, 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 you know, I forgot what it was, but it sounded pretty good. It had a mouth call in it. It was a legit diaphragm mouth call. You screwed on the end of it, and you could
Really?
change it out to different reeds, and
yeah.
it's pretty neat.
You churn butter with it?
Yeah.
Basically.
I never
Same
did. Churn
one
butter,
there.
that's more appropriate.
Well, do y'all want to go into any questions or anything before we get out of here?
Yeah, we're about to run out of time on our podcast today, but we do got some questions that Brian brought to us. So what's some of the ones y'all want to answer? They're on our sheet here, aren't they?
We had one that was pretty heavily trashed on our
Man,
one of our
what
videos.
was that?
Why do we use coon traps?
Oh,
What? Man, you talk about that's probably the number one predator
we fought.
of turkey
Yeah.
is coons.
We had-
They raid more nests and do more damage to your turkey population than any other animal out there.
I think it's just something that it's not a lot of information out there. A lot of trapping's frowned upon because people are not educated. They don't understand the point behind it. They don't understand. And granted, there's a right and wrong way to do everything. I mean, I'm sure there's trappers out there that, you know, don't respect the animal, that, you know, take advantage of things and stuff like that. But used properly, I mean, it's a key tool to, you know, making your land prosper, make your land do better, help the habitat, help the other animals out there.
Trapping is the most efficient way for you to harvest predators off your property.
Yeah. We were watching something the other day, and it's the number one thing you can do to increase turkey population is trap raccoons.
Yeah.
That's the number one thing you can do to increase the turkeys on your property.
All right, so
People don't realize that, you know.
But with the trap, you know, with the traps, we have the option of releasing the animal or dispatching the animal.
Yep.
It's up to me or who
So
caught that.
let's clarify that. Most everybody that thinks of trapping, remember the old Looney Tunes cartoons with the big jaw teeth trap, tears their leg
like
off.
a bear trap
Yeah,
or whatever.
Like that's not what we're using.
No, we're using dog-proof hand grab.
Yeah,
traps.
hand grab traps. Now, does it snap on them? Yes.
Yeah.
Does it physically? It probably scares them. It probably will leave a bruise or
Does
whatever.
it break their
Does
paw?
it break their leg? No.
No, not at all.
Because we've caught possums last weekend.
Yeah.
That we didn't want them. Guess what? You walk up to you, grab the trap, release. The possum runs on about his business. That possum's unharmed.
Yeah, he wasn't even limping when he left.
Nope.
Mm-mm. He was like, "Thank you."
Yeah. Yeah. Granted, he probably freaked out. I'm sure. I imagine if I stuck my hand off in a hole and
Oh, yeah.
something grabbed me, I'm probably gonna want to get away too. But
But we check our traps. I mean, we rode through. I set those, you know, early in the afternoon or just barely late in the evening. You know, late.
Still
in the evening.
daylight.
Still daylight. We usually make a run sometime before we go to bed to see if there's any animals on there. You know, so if the animal got caught right at dark, you know, he's on there for 3 or 4 hours maybe. You know, and then the same thing the next morning.
First,
you know,
yeah.
as soon as daylight, we make a run around through there, try to, you know, get the animals off. Or, you know, if we go turkey hunting like we did the other day, they may sit there a little longer, but they're not sitting there all day dehydrating. And,
Yeah.
yeah,
you know, I've seen people do that. I've seen trappers that, you know, don't check their traps, and, you know, they're being irresponsible. They're not being
right.
respectful towards the animals and what we're trying to do anyways.
One of the things that was mentioned in some of the comments was like, you know, if you're gonna do that, you need to hunt them at night, hunt them the right way, hunt them like a man, you know.
Right, coons.
Yeah, and I'm sitting there thinking to myself, yeah, that's great, but you've never been on a coon hunt, because if you think it's less violent than that trap, you've never been on a coon hunt.
Yeah.
You ever
So-
knocked one out?
Yeah, shoot
Shot
him out
one
of a
let
tree
it fall into the dogs,
and then let the dogs get him.
Yeah, give him a fair chance.
And there's nothing wrong with that. Like I enjoy coon
That's why
hunting,
John Eubanks wanted to do it.
but
He didn't want to shoot them out. You had to not. You had two options: you cut the tree down, or get up in there and poke him
Get him
out,
up.
let him fight the dogs. And he had the opportunity to whoop every one of them dogs and walk away.
Knock him out, John.
Won't be long.
So I mean, I feel like, I mean, you got to understand what we're doing, and to me, you know, one of the other things, like, well, just let nature take its course. If you look back, and I was talking about this past weekend with a guy. If you look back, not too many species that are hunted are extinct. Most of the things that go extinct are because of natural causes.
Natural cause.
They starve to death because they're overpopulated. They die from disease.
An overpopulated disease takes them over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean,
there's been a few that you know, over the course of
They weren't
100, 200
regulated.
years.
Yeah, they weren't regulated.
there are
you know,
regulations in place now
that's
to keep
right.
us
back
from-
during the buffalo trading when they were doing all that. Yeah, that was abused.
Yeah.
But
They wiped out a lot of the beaver at one point. I mean, there's been a lot of turkey. I mean, I'm sure turkeys were wiped out too.
Yeah.
so I
Like
mean,
we
you
used-
look
when there
though,
was,
like,
you know, ducks same way. I mean, you look, but people try to. I think, you know, if you're going to hunt them, you're going to take care of your land. You're going to be a land steward too. You're doing that for the benefit of all the animals on your place. The same thing with trapping. I mean, you know, we're not eradicating every raccoon on the
No.
property. That's probably impossible.
but you
we're
got to get
doing
them
our
in check.
part to get them in check.
Gotta get 'em in
to
check.
increase. Yeah, I mean,
But I mean, trapping is no different than running trot lines or running nets or any. I mean, that's a
That's-
trap just like anything
Yeah,
else.
that's
You
right.
know, you
Going
catch a fish,
fishing.
you-
I
right.
mean,
yeah.
So
If
know,
you're
I would
sensitive
never
to,
frown on somebody that only wanted to trap. If they
No.
like enjoying that, and that's what, you know, do it. Go for it.
the thing about it is, I guess, the way nature works, there is not, if it's offensive to you, there's not a pleasant way to look at any of it. You know, death is going to be a part of it regardless. Whether or not you impose it or Mother Nature does, it's still going to happen, you know.
Did we have another? We got time for probably one more. What's the Malcolm's poop video?
I don't know what that is. I was just to ask you.
Oh, it's talking about when we were in those white oaks, and we were finding deer sign in the white oaks, and I guess I wore those are what kind of boots did I have on in that video? They were LaCross rubber boots, not rubber hunting boots. I mean, I don't know exactly.
I didn't know where y'all was going with that.
which model it was, but it's a LaCrosse brand Mossy Oak boot. There is a little story behind that. My buddies at Mossy Oak sent me those boots because I got invited to go down there to do some cooking on some of their wild game stuff at their family camp in West Point, and I didn't think nothing about it. We were going to go deer hunting too. You know, we were doing a little filming, and so I brought my boots. So I had on these other brand boots.
Oh,
And I went up in there, and first thing they was like, "I can't believe you would come down here wearing that pattern." And they was like,
oh,
know,
you had to.
you know, yeah. So I didn't even think nothing about it. That's the only boots I had. You know, I just wore my boots.
You had the fake tree.
Yeah. Well, so I get in there. They said, "You know what we do with these? We've only had every time they had somebody." And I think Jeff Foxworthy was the one that wore some in there. They said we take them boots off, we throw them out in the yard, and we all shoot them, or burn them, or whatever. And they give you a pair of boots. So they didn't shoot mine, but I did get a pair of boots out of it. So that's where those boots came from. But they're LaCrosse Mossy Oak pattern bottomland, I think, boots. They're some of the best feel. They don't have like LaCrosse boots used to not fit my calves because they were so tight and it was hard to get your ankles down in them. These were the first ones that I could put on easy. They've got like the gator on top where they expand open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you slide right in them and then you cinch them down and they're you can wear them all day.
Yeah, it's
For a
hard
big
to
guy.
find boots that always have the right camouflage pattern on them. 'Cause, you know, you run, if you're in you kind of got between a rock and a hard place or something like that, knocked a hole in one, you know, you're not going to wait 2 or 3, 4 days to order some.
That's right.
You're going to run to the local academy or sports warehouse and just grab what they got. That's what we're going to defend your actions with.
There you go.
The big debate: why do we use pork fat? And why do we use beef fat? How come we don't use one over the other?
Well, because pork fat melts better and gives it better flavor, and beef fat don't. It doesn't. It's totally different texture in there. You can try it. Baked sauce. If you look at anybody that's making good sausage, they're not adding beef fat.
Yeah.
It's totally
To
different.
me, I always automatically think pork when you think of sausage,
Yeah,
regardless.
Right. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
we were making a breakfast sausage,
Yeah.
and making a pork style product, anyways, out of those 2 grinds that we did. And we used the pork fat.
Now,
but
Even some of those
you
great.
did burgers.
Yeah, we done burgers and used brisket trimmings.
Yeah.
And I mean
I've done it. I mean,
we knew we were trying to cater to a beef style,
Mhm.
Menu, so we use beef there.
Each his own on that, but I thought the pork fat's better.
Yeah.
And a lot of times you can't get beef or pork. You got to get what you can get.
That's right. That's right.
Man, we got a list of them.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to some of these others next time. I think we done run out of time today. Hopefully Jamie will be back with us. Maybe his shingles will get
done
off
being a roofer.
Mark, tell everybody where they can find us and all the business side.
Yes,
of things.
sir. Y'all make sure to check out all the podcasts, of course, on all the platforms. We got plenty of videos coming out. Got some recipes. Got some technical stuff. So we should have plenty of content in the near future. Always check us out at buckjunkie.com. You can check out the apparel we have. Get you some, and we'll see y'all next time.
All right, we gone.